straight into the topic that I want to discuss today. And what I want to discuss is the topic of, are we all insane? Are we really? Because the saying is, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is a definition of insanity. But we are creatures of routine. We naturally do the same thing over and over, but we do get the same result. We know what result is going to come. So in a way, I feel like that statement or saying is a little inaccurate. And here's my take on it. By proxy, the standard definition of insanity, or the saying, would insinuate that we're all insane, but we know that's not the case. There's a stark difference between doing a routine and then doing something that you know is knowingly bad for you, and then doing it over and over again and expecting things to become good from doing it all over the time. Like I said, we're creatures of habit, we're creatures of routine. My point is being that if you go by that definition, yeah, technically we are all nuts, we're all crazy, but let's be honest here. We know that's not the case.
Are you sure about that?
So what is the case? Or at least, what do I think the case is? What I consider to be insanity is similar to the standard definition of it, or the standard saying, but not quite the same. Let me explain, right? Yes, insanity is doing something over and over again and expecting a different result. But my definition of insanity is, yes, you're doing something over and over again but expecting a different result, but it's doing something that you know is bad for you over and over again, but you expect a different result. A perfect example is, I'm sure people who watches this video has experiences with it. Going back to your ex over and over again, thinking they're gonna change for you, knowing very well they ain't gonna change for no one, nothing, and especially not you. It is a bad habit. So that's what I consider true insanity. I don't consider insanity waking up every day, brushing your teeth and taking a shower and stuff like that, things you do as your routine. Insanity to me is doing something over and over again that you realize is bad for you, but you keep on knowingly doing it, knowing that it's bad for you. You're crazy at that point. I think the primary issue when it comes to this topic is a lack of a true definition of insanity, because there's a lot of cases where people consider people crazy or insane, and that's not simply the case, or they consider themselves insane or crazy, and it's just not the case, right? I believe my definition is probably the truest definition of it, but at the end of the day, that's just anecdotal, and that's my self-belief, right? What I will say is that the word insane and crazy, it's become so watered down. Nowadays, people are genuinely flexing that they're quote-unquote crazy or insane. They're flexing it on social media. They're flexing it. And quite frankly, it's not a flex. People used to get put in asylums and treated like waste because they were deemed insane or crazy. And nowadays, it's a flex. And it's led to a dilemma, a huge dilemma. One may ask, what is that dilemma? And I believe the dilemma is two things primarily. The dilemma that I believe, or the two dilemmas that I believe are in place today when it comes to this whole insanity things is, one, people having no shame and putting out ridiculous content or ridiculously insane content that people think of as entertainment, making fun of people's disabilities or their struggles in life as entertainment. And then the second dilemma being a lot of these posers that you will catch acting crazy or flexing that they're insane takes away from the people who are actually crazy and insane and genuinely need help. Right? If you got everyone going around here posing and saying, hey, I'm crazy, I'm insane, what about the ones that are actually crazy and insane? How can they receive the help if quote unquote everyone is insane nowadays, right? That's what you are seeing in social media or just online in general, right? The normalization of craziness has negatively affected these people because when they act a certain way or display their insanity, people just shrug it off and take it as a joke, right? the people who are actually insane and crazy, they don't get taken seriously nowadays. They get made fun of and taken as a joke because it's so normalized. Why is it normalized? Because of what we've put out and what we're consuming every day on these social media platforms. You know, you'll see a kid with autism or something like that, or someone with Down syndrome, or someone who's literally losing their mind over a situation. Say they lost their house in a flood or something like that, and then you'll have people online with no sympathy talking about some, oh, you know, they shouldn't be acting that way, or make a meme or a joke out of it, and it's not a joke. These people who are posing and sitting here acting like they're crazy or saying that they're crazy, cuckoo luku and all that stuff, coco loco, you're not crazy. And you need help for the simple fact that you're trying to pose as being crazy. You must want to be crazy, right? Y'all, a lot of people don't know what true insanity is. And like I said, that's why I feel like the definition has gotten really watered down. The words insane and craziness has gotten super watered down, right? And it's taken away from the people who should really receive help for their issues and their insanity. So I feel like those are the two dilemmas. Sorry for the pause. I feel like those are the two dilemmas that are posed with this topic, right? This can lead into an even deeper rabbit hole where these people who are actually insane feel isolated or left out of society and not taken seriously because everyone's just joking on them, or the people who claim to be insane, like they're taking their quote-unquote title. And I don't know why people would want that title of being crazy or insane, but I guess it's a flex nowadays, right? And it can even lead to people having negative thoughts and even sometimes them potentially passing away regardless of the way they do it, or the way it happens, you know. These posers really do think they're insane purely because they continue to harm themselves with their negative habits, their bad habits, and post it online as a flex. It's not a flex to post online that you keep on going back to your ex. It's not a flex to post online that you're struggling with, not even that struggling with addiction, right? There's some people who legitimately don't have an addiction to certain things, like for example drugs or like weed, or I'm not even saying that is bad, but people for real just do it just because they want to follow a trend and then post about it like it's a flex. Like, it is not a flex to keep on negatively harming yourself knowingly so, like you know what you're doing, right? And it's caused a genuine negative impact on society. But like, maybe they're crazy for even thinking that, that's a flex. You know, maybe I've lost the plot. Maybe these people are actually genuinely crazy and insane for the simple fact that they think flexing being crazy and insane is a good thing. And then the people who are actually crazy and insane ends up taking a blow because of it. You know, society doesn't really care about them. Maybe that's the case. Maybe I've lost the plot, but I don't know. These are just my open thoughts about it, right? So, to answer the original question, are we all insane? In a way, yes. If we're going by the standard definition of doing everything or doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. I mean, in that case, all of our routines makes us insane by definition, right? But that's not really insanity, right? Insanity is doing something over and over and over again, knowing it's negatively affecting your life, but expecting something to change. Insanity is posting online as if you're crazy, knowing very well you're over-exaggerating your mental state or lack thereof, right? Insanity is flexing being crazy, right? Flexing being crazy online to other people and thinking it's a good thing. They do anything for clout. People generally do this. You can find it all on TikTok, all on Instagram Reels, right? Too many stupid things have become normalized into this world, and it's an actively parasocial and internet and social media driven world. And this is just one of many of them, right? Are we all technically insane? Maybe, and maybe everyone got a couple screws loose. I don't know about y'all personal lives or what y'all got going on. Maybe y'all do got some screws loose. But because of the parasocial society that we're growing up in, and now we have to deal with, it's becoming normalized to be quote unquote insane or crazy, right? And I find that, wow, like it's to the point where nowadays it's a sin to be normal. It's a sin to be normal. People make fun of you for being normal. Like, you could just go drink a bottle of water and they'll be a grown man. They'll be like, oh, you're a grown man drinking water. What am I supposed to do? Do I? You want me to die of thirst? It's like grown man eating. What, like, all right, bro. To answer the question, you know, I did a little bit of rambling, but are we all insane? No, not really. By the original definition, we should be, but we're not really. I don't know about what y'all got going on in your lives, but insane is a heavy and strong word, almost like the word hate, right? The word hate is a heavy and strong word, and these words, insane, crazy, they've become watered down, right? To the point where people have just lost the plot. People have just lost the plot, and I really hope the people who are actually insane and crazy can get the help they need to deal with the issues that they have. Because if they don't, things will go negatively. I hope society starts more openly accepting these people for who they are. Because if we don't, and we're just paying attention to the ones who think they're cuckoo heads or they're crazy, and we're just making fun of those people, or if we're just making fun of those people, we're gonna end up making fun of the people who actually have these problems. And then they're gonna be sectioned out of society. They low-key already are, but I feel like society should become more accepting of the genuinely insane people. You know, like things like mental asylums were crazy. Anyways, once again, thanks for watching my video. That's what I want to talk about today. Try to put out at least 2 videos a week. Gotta keep the grind going. Gotta keep producing. The grind never stops. Y'all always remember that the grind never stops. My socials are linked in the description as always. They'll be at the end of the video after this too. And most importantly, as always, have a blessed and wonderful day. Caleb out.